So tell us about mental health, substance abuse, if you want to separate them or put them together. Tell us about those here in 2024.
Yeah, I think, like I had mentioned earlier, it's something we're always going to struggle with, and we always have seen in the patterns of our culture and history. But I think it's worse now because, for instance, kids have access to the social pressures and everything in their life. It's in their hand. When you and I were growing up, we deal with stuff at school, we deal with pressure at school, we deal with things there, and we come home and it's, isolated and we can compartmentalize. Now we carry those pieces of our lives and those sections of our lives around with us in our pocket. And they're always looking at their social media pages for affirmation or reinforcement. And if they don't get it, and reading into things, and there's just far more things for them to read into about their environment than we had, because we had maybe what was on TV, but that wasn't directed necessarily to us. So when we were at home, we were limited to those people that we saw on the phone ring. We had to share the phone, or like get the cord, and a long enough cord that would go around the quarter to get some privacy on the cell phone or on the house phone. But now you have those social pressures from all points of your life that are kind of traveling with you, and there's more accountability to be available, to be somewhere or to commit to things, and to be present and aware and alert and on top of things. And I think those types of changes in our society, it makes it even more difficult for people to do well from a mental health perspective, in kids especially. And, we have a part of our hospital that does treat kids in our outpatient programs. And it's tough, specifically, I think, I say that it's probably arguably more tough for a kid to go through a situation than an adult, because they're developing their whole idea of the world around them. So when you're developing up until probably early adulthood, they are developing their understanding of situations. They're getting experience. They're learning how to ride a bike, and those types of things. They're learning how to get routines down to where they can rehearse that and do it naturally throughout their life. And so I look at that as kind of like they have this set of springs that they're developing that repel stressors and things that happen in their life and environment or whatever. They're learning how to repel those things and survive under changing circumstances that are happening around them. So they go through something versus an adult who already developed all those experiences, already has the knowledge, already seen things. So an adult goes through a situation and they kind of repel it much easier. The kid who doesn't have their response system, their set of springs haven't necessarily been formed yet. And so it impacts the formation of their whole response system, their whole ability to reflect or repel anxiety or whatever it may be. And so it's a little bit more damaging for a kid to go through something traumatic than it is an adult. Not to say that an adult can't be severely impacted, but it changes their whole development a little different.
Is it true, I hear this and I repeat it, but maybe today I don't know if it's true, that the frontal cortex doesn't completely develop until we're like 25?
Right, yeah.
So we're still learning all these things.
That's absolutely
until
right, yeah.
So the question is, and then I hear these moments between 8 and 15, like those are really developmental years for kids. Is 15 to 20 as important as 8 to 15? Is 20 to 25 as important to 15 to 20? Are they as important? Are they different? Are they less important?
I think they're all different, and they build upon each other. So if the earlier you disrupt something like that, the worse it impacts.
Compounds.
Yeah,
one way or
on
another.
Down the road. So if you have what's really a disaster and hard to deal with is, we look at some of the people in our lives that are the source of stability and survival. Like our parents may be our source of food and shelter and survival. And if our parent is also someone who is a source of trauma, that is even more of an impact, because then you're trying to understand, how is this person that is my source of stability also the source of a lot of trauma? They can't verbalize that, but in reality,
that's what I'm sitting here thinking about. I don't even know if it's a thought, but you're impacted, right? While you're trying to learn, that's what's probably embedded in your brain about what you learn. That maybe that's normal behavior, right?